Up and running, and Villa is loud.
Hello and welcome to the Villa Park podcast. It's me, Rich, and I'm back for talking tactics after a 3-week break, I think it was, and Kev ably assisted with the Talking Tactics show with Gareth. I think he had one win, one defeat, and we're back. I'm back. We've got another victory. Gareth, how are you doing, mate? You've been excited for this one as well.
Really excited. I can't say that you're a lucky charm. That's not fair because the rest of us can claim that as well. So, but yeah. I mean, this one, I was really impressed with them on Saturday. I got to admit, I thought they were really, really good, and really impressive display, sort of for a tough start to but really impressive come the end of the game. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. It kind of had everything, didn't it? Like chances, they're going behind, facing a bit of adversity, substitutions coming on and changing the game, the players showing character and heart, and then not giving up. I mean, they're the ingredients for a good team, mate.
Yeah, definitely. I think, and that's a change that we've seen, haven't we? I don't even think we saw that sort of under Emery in the first sort of few weeks or the first sort of few months, as it were. But it's something we've got to be careful because it's just one game. So we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. But to show a quality in a team like that is really impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we've got our usual slides. We've got one or two new ones. We've got a little focus on how we're playing and also a particular player who's causing another debate. Not Ollie Watkins this time, but a different player for different reasons. But we'll get into all that. But please do, guys, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button if you are new to the channel, or if you're old to the channel but haven't subscribed yet. We're so close to 2,400. I think we need another 17 of you to subscribe, and that'll help us on the road to 3K. So do hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. So Gareth, let's get into the passing networks and kind of the volume of passing. Pau Torres we've seen heavily involved in the passing sequences, and that link up to Aliadiere as well, getting highly involved in it as well.
Yeah, exactly that. And, we should forget errors. We should forget all things like this. And this is why he was brought into the side. I think he 100 and we'll get into it in a bit. I think it was 114 passes completed, which is it's incredible. I think the records that Opta started to keep, that is the most by an Aston Villa player. So that is an incredible volume of passing for us, even for a centre back. And yeah, we can clearly see it here that Digne, even before Mourinho was in the squad sort of thing, this was the focus, what we were doing, wasn't it? This is what we saw, that left-sided bias through Digne and everything else. And we're starting to now see a little bit of interaction from Konsa, Cash and Kamara on that side for a little bit of a different role for Boubacar Kamara on Saturday. So really interesting to see that we're still building up through that left-hand side. It's recognised that that's our strongest side. But we're more effective. I think we're more effective with Pau through passing than we were with Tyrone, where we didn't see as much, did we? You sort of into the centre of the pitch. We're seeing a lot more of that under Torres.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, I know it's kind of low in terms of the passing network, but there's still like fairly regular passes between Louise, McGinn, Kamara, Cash. So midfield getting involved in quite a few different passing networks as well.
Yeah, we shouldn't forget that sort of the green is more sort of your 10 plus passing combination. Yeah. So that's still quite high, and it's really interesting to see how we're building up. Sort of, we're trying to edge a little bit more towards, we talked about it a lot, didn't we, me and you last time, that we need to sort of have that balance across the left and across the right. And Konsa isn't that sort of main passer as we like, but we're starting to see a little bit, the confidence is growing, I think, at the back there.
Yeah, definitely. Quick looking at the XG shot map first. We'll have a look at the shot map. What did you see from this in terms of how we kind of, I don't know, guess how the quality of our chances were?
Yeah, because I think we can. First of all, what I would say is we can definitely see is like a really central bias on the shots. Now, this is I think if anybody watched Monday Night Football yesterday with Thomas Frank, they were talking about sort of making big chances and rather creating bigger chances and better chances from good areas rather than just shooting from anywhere. And this is kind of what he was almost talking about. You can see a lot of good chance. I mean, the biggest blue dot there is the penalty. So take that away, we've still got sort of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 chances inside, sort of in a central area that are pretty good, and only 3 outside the box. So that's what we should really sort of focus on. And I think in the first half there was a lot of people talking. I've had different conversations with people saying sort of we were really good in the first half, but we just didn't create a great deal. We didn't finish things up, and that's true. We didn't create a lot. So I think there was something like a 1.02 xg created in the first half, and in the second half 2.18. With 4 shots on target in the second half. Compared to the first half, there was just 1. So that's what I was trying to sort of get at, was that yeah, we controlled the game, but we didn't actually create sort of really top chances out of it, and we saw that more in the second half.
Yeah. Is that, I mean, we'll get into the timeline in a second, but is that obviously, you talk about time elapsing in the game. Is that sometimes because the opposition that you're facing now, Crystal Palace set up to be quite solid, quite tough to break down, but as the game wears on, the fatigue sets in, concentration maybe drops, changes come on and maybe cause a different problem. Is that kind of like indicating that you might tend to create sort of better chances towards the end when players are a bit more tired?
I suppose it's the natural evolution of the game, isn't it? But I mean, I did notice that Crystal Palace made more tackles and interceptions in the second half than they did in the first half. So,
Right.
it kind of balances itself out a little bit. But yeah, I mean, they had to defend a lot more in the second half, didn't they, Crystal Palace? I just think, and what Emery said post-match, even though sort of he backed up almost what I'm saying is that he wasn't that impressed with the first half. He controlled the game quite well, but we could have done things a lot better. And I think that's what we saw in the second half, that we started to do the important things in the final third a lot better than we did in the first half. It's all very well having the ball, but you've got to be able to do stuff with it.
Sure. And then the timeline, I mean, this one is crazy. Like, you look at the last, is that like 87 to 90 to 105 minutes where that kind of flurry of chances and obviously the goals came through.
Crazy when you think about it. I mean, it's actually 3 goals in more than 10 minutes with the added time, the 90 plus 11 from 87. It's obviously, it's sort of like 30 minutes, isn't it? 40 minutes. It's crazy how it sort of ended the game like that. And we didn't really see it coming. I can kind of see, I thought we were going to win the game, but it was just sort of, yeah, it was quite a surprise how it sort of took a turn towards the end.
Yeah, absolutely. And does I guess what you said before around like the control, but not necessarily the quality of chances or the higher chances, indicate that in the first half where we were saying we created a lot of chances, but I don't know, is that saying that they weren't quite there that we thought as quality as we thought they were?
Yeah, this is why we do these analysis, so we can visually see what is actually happening in the game, and this backs up what I've said. It almost backs up what Emery said. Yeah, we controlled the game, but we only created sort of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 6 chances in the first half, and so this is exactly what it is. This is exactly why we do these things, so we can visually see it. That controlling the game is all very well and good, but you're not actually doing much with it.
Yeah. And then the X threat in terms of like the contribution. This is just passes, by the way, but Luca Dean and we're going to come on to him, Pau Torres there. 2 defenders essentially with the highest threat in terms of their passing.
Yeah, we shouldn't be surprised that Luca Digne should be. I think he sort of comes fairly up there as well. I think he's really been fantastic. He's been one of my players of the season so far, I have to say. Really sort of took the ball by the horns, if you like, in the absence of Moreno. But yeah, this is what we see, and we're going to get on to Torres. But it was no surprise for me to see Torres up. When I did this graphic, it was no surprise for me to see Torres up there. That incisive passing into midfield and everything else, and really interesting to see. And we'll also get onto a little bit as for the Crystal Palace, for Joachim Andersen as well. We'll see what a progressive passer he is, and it's a very similar sort of style.
Yeah, well, let's have a look at it, because this is one that you wanted to add into the show. What is it? Yeah, what is this telling us? Because there's a lot of dots and there's a lot of names on here.
Yeah, I posted this on Twitter, I think, in your absence, I think a few days ago. And it was kind of, I just wanted to sort of plot where I could see sort of how progressive is Pau Torres' passing. And this was all done, by the way, before the game on Saturday. We should add that. But when I spoke about Joachim Andersen, long ball sort of specialist, really accurate passer. But when we look at teams like Brighton, we can see the back three there: Adam Webster, Van Heck, and Lewis Dunk. And this is where Emery wants us to get to. He wants us to get towards that top right-hand side where Pau Torres is creating sort of high expected threat value with his passing from that left sort of centre-back position. And it's really interesting now we can see sort of our different centre-backs in different teams playing. We can see Gahey and Anderson again there, progressive passes of the ball from centre-back. And like I said again, this is where Torres, we want to be up there. We want to be up that top right-hand corner somewhere. And he will be.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, the other side, like Ezri Konsa's getting a lot of praise for kind of stepping up and being that kind of experienced centre back at the heart of the defence, particularly in Premier League terms. Could you see him kind of getting more into that progressive passes list as a centre back? Is Diego Carlos potentially gonna fill that mantle? Like, where do you see that going?
That's a struggle to see either. I've got to be honest. I don't sort of mean Konsa out of the two probably, but considering how we've seen the passing networks pan out, we're obviously sort of more akin to a left-sided pass. And you use your best players in the best positions to do the best things that they can do with their abilities. And Konsa is probably the best one of the lot, but you can't really sort of see that progressive nature. But I think he's trying.
Yeah, he's definitely trying. And I mean, like, he's definitely getting a lot of praise for his performances, and let's keep that up. I think Dean Smith was commenting last night on Radio 5 Live about him, and I think he's also today, I've seen in the news where looking at a new contract for him because of his impressive form, and England can't be too far away for him. So we'll see.
No, I think especially with sort of like the criticism, little Pau Torres coming for a little bit of criticism with his defensive sort of side of things, but I think that's where you benefit having Konsa in the side, is that sort of he's more of a defensive. He's able to sort of with his pace to cover him behind if there is a sort of mistake. And the way he's playing, this is testament to the side. I think he's an important part of the side. I really do.
Absolutely. Well, let's get into your match of the day style slides that I have missed, mate. I have well and truly missed all these. So let's get into it. Yeah, having a look at the first one, you kind of commented on our kind of being more aggressive in possession and looking at the positions that we're taking up on the pitch. So yeah, what are we kind of seeing here, mate?
Yeah, so this backs up what we see on the passing network. Remember, we saw Pau Torres sort of in that left side, just almost where he is now on average, and this was where he was. You've got sort of a more aggressive sort of position. You're trying to push Crystal Palace back a little bit. Notice Kamara's different position. So we're pushing both fullbacks really, really high. Now, Cash is just to the right out of the picture, but we're pushing both fullbacks high. We're dropping Kamara in, and we're leaving Luiz on his own in the central area. And with the two number 8s in, McGinn and Zaniolo coming in. So this is for me, this is a little bit more of a better shape. For me, I just like that. I like to have two fullbacks high like that, and I think that's important. But you've also got positions there where Pau Torres, they try to force that ball into Zaniolo and McGinn a lot. Konsa and Pau Torres both try to do this, but you've got options. So he can go left, Pau Torres, Konsa can go right to Kamara, or he can go into McGinn, or he can chip it over to Cash, whatever. You've got multiple options. I think that we might see this a little bit more because I think this worked really well. Whether Kamara is that to fulfill that role on that right, I'm not quite sure, but you've got to have that defensive stability, and I think that's why I was there. But yeah, I really like this.
Yeah, it's nice. It's weird, right? It's so funny because I think some of the more mature football supporters amongst us, even before like our time, will suggest that it's kind of going back to like old school football where they used to have inside forwards that have like the wide defenders right up the pitch, and almost like that W formation. We've almost got like two W formations here on the pitch, and it's just weird how football works in cycles. Like you've gone from like 3-5-2s to kind of it's 4-4-2s and stuff, and now we're going into this kind of formation, particularly on the ball, where you look how attacking it is. It's funny how football works like that.
Yeah, it is. I mean, don't forget we're pretty much an orthodox 4-4-2 if you like. So therefore, if you're going to say like that in like your old school terms, your wider players were wingers, weren't they?
Yeah.
They were wingers. They weren't. They were certainly not in there, which is what we call now 2 number 8s, if you like. But like you said, basically they're inside forwards, aren't they? If you ask my old man, he'd tell you they're inside forwards. So
exactly, and you had halfbacks
exactly.
instead of fullbacks.
It's really interesting from a progressive point of view. We're seeing these little tweaks every now and then. And I got asked by a Chelsea fan today, sort of on the thing, how do you think you'll set up against us? I said, we don't really deviate. I said, we can sort of personnel maybe here and there, but we don't really deviate. But against Palace, this was a bit of a change again.
Yeah. Well, you wanted to just touch on how we did with Burnley, and you saw similarities in that away game against Burnley. Obviously, Pau Torres again on the ball in those advanced positions, trying to start the play.
Yeah, this is what it's almost like another phase up, another phase forwards, if you like, in the build-up play. But we can see sort of McGinn and Diaby in those 8 positions. Kamara, we can say, is a little bit not in the way it was against Palace, but you've got both fullbacks high, Cash and Dino on the edge of the box. And like I say, this is aggressive. This is aggressive forward play. It's really key to do that. And with Pau Torres being able to be in that position to play those balls around where he is, I think that's important. And this is why the expected threat value from him is high, because he's playing passes from threatening positions into threatening positions. And this is what Emery wants to see. Would we see that with Tyrone Mings? I don't think we would.
No, Tyrone sometimes carried the ball that far forward. Like it ended up being like he'd run with it and then he'd just keep running, and he was starting to get that passing. But obviously Torres gives us that extra kind of dimension with it. And then this one again, similar thing, but it's this time Konsa trying to go for those progressive passes.
Yeah, you set me up perfectly for it earlier, actually, when you said about Konsa being a progressive. And this is what I mean. This is where he's starting to and trying to sort of do because you've got options on the ball. Again, we can see Kamara out here. Don't forget what is hidden by the title there, but this is actually sort of 20 minutes later. So in the first graphic that I showed, so it just shows a little bit of consistency about what we're trying to do, sort of thing. Zaniolo, McGinn in there again, Douglas Luiz in there. You might struggle if the midfield, if you're playing against a team that's sort of playing a 3-5-2 there, because you might get overcrowded a bit, but then that can be adjusted, sort of thing. So yeah, I just wanted to sort of back it up again, really.
Yeah, awesome stuff. One thing you did want to mention of playing this kind of progressive style is the potential pitfalls that we could face. So yeah, talk to us and talk to me and the audience around that.
I'll get a bit of flack for this again. Oh, Gareth, why are you being so, but this is what happens. You see, this is where you've got to be careful. We can see Kamara at the bottom of the screen now. He is on the right of that sort of back 3 in possession, if you like. And if you've got fast players in the opposition, you could be caught out. This is where if you're playing against a 3-5-2, you've got to adjust things, because you will have wingers, you will have pacey players, and they can attack with sort of 6 at a time, 7 at a time. So we just have to be aware that you've got that defensive stability when you're doing it. It's okay at home. I don't think away we'll see it so much. I think we'll be a little bit more sort of cautious away from home, but with Chelsea, for example, maybe. But just got to be a little bit more bit careful.
Yeah, it's where a crafty foul from like I don't know, like a Rodri or someone like that in one of the top sides would go down really well, and then they get away with it. Whereas we maybe need to get used to those dark arts a little bit more.
Yeah, I also think this is where Douglas Luiz has to be that little bit more wise, sort of when he's on, because Kamara is out now. He's just got to be that little bit deeper. If you've got those inside forwards there, sort of you really want Douglas Luiz to be in sort of just ahead of the centre circle on the edge of this, near sort of where the referee is. You don't really need McGinn and Zaniolo having to chase back like that.
Yeah. Okay, let's have a look at our next. So this is where we wanted to focus a little bit more on our man Pau Torres. So yeah, talk to us around kind of the benefits and maybe 1 or 2 kind of not drawbacks, but just challenges that he might face.
Yeah, he didn't get any flack from me on Twitter, but he obviously did from quite a few others. And that's why I wanted to pick up on that and analyse it and see just sort of if they had a point or whatever. And they kind of do in a lot of respects, because we saw this against, I tried to find another slide that I had, and I think it was against, I can't remember, but he does this quite a bit. He jumps into he follows Mateta. This is Mateta, I think he's Mike.
Mateta,
Yeah, he tends to follow in past. He doesn't need to do that. Just stay in line with Israel. Just stay in line with Conte there. Let Mateta go and pick up that ball if that's what you're worried about. Let those midfielders, like you've got Digne, Louise, for example, who can drop that. You know, that's not up to you to go follow. I know some defenders like to do it. He hasn't really got to do that. He needs to be in that red zone. For me, he needs to be in that red zone. We've seen him do this quite a bit. So I think that's probably what they might be talking about. And it's a fair point.
Sure. But some of the kind of positives, or like a lot of the positives, are around his, touches and his, and you've highlighted there his heat map in terms of like where he was set up and like how many touches that he actually had.
Incredible. I mean, I said 114 out of 124, so I'm 3 out. That's not too bad. That's pretty good memory. I'm happy with that. So you can just see the sort of positions where, look how much time for a centre half he's spending in that position, past then the left side is our halfway line. That's incredible for a centre, even at home. Again, Palace are no mugs. They're a decent side, and you could just see that he sticks to his role. He knows what he's doing. He knows his pitfalls, so he knows he can drop back. You see a lot of sort of density in that sort of outside the box there, but yeah, I mean, to create, sort of 0.29 XT from his passes and have 132 touches of the ball, it's just incredible.
Yeah, all really positive stuff. We mentioned, so like, Pau Torres, a real kind of well, I guess a positive for now, because he's probably been thrust into the situation before maybe Emery would have liked, or a little bit more kind of urgently than he would have liked, and he's doing quite well, and we're getting used to how he's playing. Ollie Watkins, though, we've had so many debates this week about him. We really want him to do well. He's 1 goal in 12, but is he having those confidence issues that you've put at the top of the title here?
Yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it, with Ollie Watkins sort of splitting a lot of opinions at the minute. We all have to be careful what we say, because if we say one thing, we'll get slated for it. If we say the other, we'll get slated for it. But for me, when he's going through on goal here, I'm thinking this is done. He scored, and he just took it a bit too early. Roll it on a little bit more.
Literally going to say that, like, take another touch and then commit the goalkeeper a little bit more, and then you can go both sides. And if you take it further forward,
well, yeah, I mean, even if you look at it now, he struck the ball, but look where the goalkeeper. I mean, that side of the goal is open. That's a 0.49 expected goals on target chance. He's got to be certain. This is where I think people have got a valid opinion and a valid point. A top goal scorer scores goals like this. I don't care about confidence issues and well, this and that. He'll come in good and whatever. He need it now. He's a goal scorer. That's his job. His job is to score goals. It's not to be sort of I'll come good in the end. Yeah, but that's okay. But you've got to be scoring. This is a great chance. I just could not believe that he didn't finish that off, and it's a shame. And I can see why. It's just going to get worse and worse. If he doesn't score, I think the flack will come. I really do.
Yeah, well, I said on one of the episodes, that I think it was our match reaction episode, I was like, all that footage. Remember the footage of Brian Clough when he's like, "You want bloody shooting for missing from there?"
Yeah.
Like, just things like that. Like, just put the ball in the net. That's what I pay you for. And it's almost like, just like, he's already had his job made more simple by Emery to say, don't do all that running. Conserve your energy for inside of the width of the box, and then you'll get more chances, and you'll be able to put more away. Now it's the challenge is for him to do what he's paid to do and put the ball in the net. And that's not saying that he's not wanting to do that. Of course, like, he's there's nobody who want to score more than him, but that's what you earn the big bucks for.
Yeah, I think and we are quite reliant on him for goals, aren't we? It seems. I know
Yeah.
Diaby's getting a few and Leon's getting a few, but he's our sole centre forward. And me and you discussed about having another. That's why I would have liked someone else to come in, another centre forward, just to come in and complement him, and also just to give him a bit of competition. Because I think Diaby's always going to be in the side, and I think Watkins is always going to be in the side. There's no real competition for him in that spot, and I think. It's almost not, I'm not saying he's becoming complacent. I'm not saying that, because he is a good player. But when people are saying to me, yeah, but he does a great deal for the team and, he runs off the ball and he does all this, that's great. But his job is to score goals as well. And he's not doing that at the minute. I think I did some analysis the other day, which I didn't send through, which I should have done. The last few seasons, he's always negative XG. So, there you go. I did send it through. So
there you go.
Yeah, so you know, we can. I'm not knocking him for it. I'm not, because he's done us some real good favors. You know, we just need that little bit more. You just want to see him, for him more than anything, just to put away a few of those chances. But as we can see, you know, he scored sort of 14, 11, and 15 in the last few seasons for Villa. We can go back further, but we choose to do this. But last season was his most productive, would we say? 15. I mean, you know, it looks pretty good, doesn't it? You know, and he's sort of shooting in those central areas. He's progressing into them central areas. We can see that's a lot better. And even this season, all of those chances and all of those shots are inside the box, aren't they? Bar one little dot, I think.
Yeah.
So it just shows he is taking on board what's been told of him, because all those shots are coming in the box. So we can gauge that. We just need him to put away those chances.
It just be ruthless, Ollie. If you listen and watching me, just be ruthless, mate. Like, don't care about what anyone else is doing. Don't care about whether you're doing your job for working or running or what. Just score goals. Be ruthless, mate. That's all you need to do.
This is my point, and this is what I sort of had this conversation with different people again on Twitter. And I say, yeah, but he's really good off the ball. He's a top centre forward, but he's not an elite European centre forward, is he? Yet.
No.
That's not right to say that, you know. And so people talk about him going to Chelsea or going down to London or whatever. Does he get in a Chelsea side? Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe at the minute, yeah. But like, you wouldn't want to at the moment. He's probably better off here. Like, develop yourself here and just get that ruthless streak. That's all you need.
But you and I'd make a good front strike partnership in that Chelsea side, Rich. It doesn't mean anything. But I mean, would he get in that Brighton side at the minute? I don't think so. You know, Manchester United, would he get in there? I don't think so. So, you know, it's just all very well in doing these things for the team, but we need him scoring goals for us. That's his job.
Yeah, agreed. Well, look, Gareth, fantastic analysis as always. I think the viewers have been treated to some great analysis and some great insight into some of the players and what we're doing. So thank you so much, mate. As always, where can everyone find you?
You can find me at that Garate JC, and be nice, please. Be nice, please.
Yeah. Well, look, after a win like that, what else can we say?
You'd think that, wouldn't you? But...
I know. I'm joking, but yeah, we've got Conference League coming up this week, so hopefully get the win against Legia. If it's a real interesting game, we may do some analysis on that. Otherwise, we'll be back for after the Chelsea game for talking tactics. But loads of shows on the channel for the rest of the week. Match preview for Legia, match reaction for Legia, preview for Chelsea, reaction for Chelsea. So make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Put your notifications on so you know when the show's coming up. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And as always, remember, we'll follow the Villa. Thanks, everyone.
Up